It is 2 in the morning. The world outside your window has finally gone quiet. Everyone else is fast asleep. But inside your head? It is a crowded, chaotic intersection at rush hour, playing at maximum volume. Have you ever found yourself lying awake, staring into the dark, just to replay a fleeting conversation from 3 years ago? Twisting the memories around, agonizing over the smallest details, and whispering to yourself, "If only I had said it differently." If you are trapped in that room right now, take a deep breath. You are not alone. And more importantly, this is not your fault. You are not broken. What keeps you awake is not a flaw in your character, but a highly complex defense mechanism, operating silently right beneath your skull. How many times have well-meaning friends told you to just let it go, to simply stop thinking about it? Society often brushes off overthinking as a luxury of people who have too much free time on their hands. If only it were that easy. The painful truth is that no one willingly locks themselves inside a prison constructed by their own thoughts. It is mentally and physically draining. To understand what is actually happening to you, we must draw a heavy line between two entirely different mental states. The first is problem solving. This is your brain working for you. When you solve a problem, you are actively looking for an exit strategy. You analyze the situation, you find a practical answer, you take action, and then the thinking naturally stops. It is like building a sturdy ladder to climb over a wall. But what you are experiencing in the middle of the night is something else entirely. In psychology, this endless cycle is known as rumination. Rumination does not look for an exit. It is a relentless, exhausting loop that drags you through every worst-case scenario and every past mistake. It creates a convincing illusion of productivity, whispering that if you just think hard enough, you will be safe. But you are not moving forward. If problem-solving is building a ladder, rumination is simply taking a shovel and digging the hole you are standing in deeper and deeper, until the darkness is all you can see. So, where does this shovel come from? Why are some of us wired to analyze everything, while others can simply let things go? The answer often lies in the very beginning of our stories. For many, overthinking is not a personality flaw. It is a brilliant, yet tragic, survival skill learned in childhood. If you grew up in an unpredictable, volatile, or emotionally unsafe environment, you could not afford to just be a child. You had to become a detective. You learned to carefully read the slight shift in a parent's tone. You analyzed the heavy sound of footsteps in the hallway. You studied micro-expressions of anger or disappointment. Anticipating the mood of the adults around you, predicting the storm before it hit, was the only way to protect yourself. Fast forward to today. You are grown. You might be sitting in a safe, quiet room, but your nervous system never got the memo. That childhood hypervigilance, that desperate need to predict the emotional weather, followed you into adulthood. It simply changed its name to overthinking. Your brain is still obsessively scanning the horizon, mapping out every possible worst-case scenario. Because to the wounded inner child, uncertainty still feels terrifyingly close to danger. And then, we take this exhausted, highly sensitive nervous system and place it into the modern world. A world that never truly goes quiet. The relentless pace of modern life, the endless scroll of social media, and the cultural obsession with perfection pour gasoline on an already burning fire. We are bombarded with a million microscopic variables to consider every single day. To a brain already wired to expect the worst, every unanswered text message, every subtle change in a coworker's voice feels like a matter of life and death. The ancient survival mechanism is stuck on overdrive. Now, Let us look deeper into the machinery of your mind. Why does your brain choose to keep you awake? The truth is, it does not believe it is punishing you. It sincerely believes it is saving you. At its core, overthinking is fueled by a powerful, seductive illusion. The illusion of control. When you are faced with the terrifying, vast uncertainty of the future, your brain desperately wants to anchor itself to something solid. Since it cannot actually predict what will happen tomorrow, it does the next best thing. It thinks. It runs thousands of intricate simulations. It convinces you that if you can just imagine every possible disaster, every potential heartbreak, or every professional failure, you can somehow build a fortress against them. In the absolute stillness of your room, while your body remains completely motionless, your mind is doing heavy lifting. Worrying gives us the false sensation that we are actively doing something about our problems. Thinking feels like preparing. It is a temporary, almost addictive way to soothe our deep-rooted anxiety. But this ancient survival tactic has a severe glitch. In psychology, there is a fascinating phenomenon known as the Zeigarnik effect. It dictates that human beings remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks far better than completed ones. Let us connect this back to the hyper-vigilant inner child we talked about earlier. To a brain that is constantly on guard, looking out for danger, a resolved issue is entirely safe. You passed the exam. The project was successful. The person smiled back at you. Because these events are safe and finished, your brain simply archives them and forgets them. They do not require your attention. But what about that awkward text message you sent yesterday that was left unread? What about that clumsy remark you made at a dinner party 3 years ago? To your highly sensitive nervous system, these are not just simple memories. They are loose ends. They are unresolved, unpredictable threats. Your brain highlights them, treating them like ticking time bombs that could detonate at any moment and ruin your life. This is precisely why you can have 99 things go perfectly right in a single day. But as soon as your head hits the pillow, your mind will obsessively latch onto the one tiny thing that was left uncertain. And here is where the entire system completely breaks down. When you feed your brain too many variables, too many hypothetical scenarios, and too many ticking time bombs, you do not reach clarity. You reach a devastating state called analysis paralysis. Imagine a computer with 100 heavy programs running at the exact same time. Eventually, the fan screams, the screen freezes, and the whole system crashes. This is exactly what happens inside your head. The amygdala, the primitive emotional alarm bell of your brain, becomes completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of catastrophic scenarios you are visualizing. The tragic irony of the amygdala is that it cannot tell the difference between a real, physical threat standing right in front of you and a scary thought echoing inside your mind. It responds to your overthinking by flooding your body with stress signals. The fear of making the wrong choice or saying the wrong thing becomes so intensely magnified that you become entirely incapable of making any choice at all. You freeze. You are trapped in the crossfire of your own mind, desperately trying to think your way out of a trap that your own thinking created in the first place. And this brings us to the most heartbreaking paradox of overthinking. The entire reason your mind is working so incredibly hard, spinning those thousands of worst-case scenarios, is to protect you. It is desperately searching for a sense of safety, a guarantee that everything will be okay. But in its relentless pursuit to secure a peaceful future, that very same analytical machine completely robs you of the only peace that actually exists: the present moment. You might be physically sitting on a soft couch or lying safely under warm blankets, but mentally, you are fighting a war that has not even happened yet, or fighting a battle from the past that has long been over. This invisible war comes with a devastating physical cost. People who do not overthink often wonder why you are so tired all the time. After all, you were just lying in bed. You did not run a marathon, but your brain did. Because your nervous system perceives your catastrophic thoughts as real, immediate threats, it continuously floods your bloodstream with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate secretly elevates. Your muscles subtly tense up. Your body is forcefully bracing for an impact that never actually arrives. This is why you can wake up the next morning feeling utterly drained, carrying a heavy exhaustion deep in your bones, despite doing absolutely nothing physically. Your body just spent the entire night surviving a disaster that existed only in your imagination. So, a profound question emerges. If this endless cycle is breaking us down, why do we hold on to it so tightly? Why are we so deeply afraid of simply letting go of control? Why does the idea of true silence terrify us? The answer is hard to face, because when the loud, chaotic machinery of your mind finally grinds to a halt, the room gets very quiet. And in that overwhelming quiet, you are no longer distracted by hypothetical disasters. Instead, you are forced to sit face to face with the things you have been running from. Raw, unprocessed emotions, deeply rooted insecurities, and old, silent wounds. You see, for many of us, overthinking is actually a shield against feeling. It is easier to worry about a fictional tomorrow than it is to feel the pain of today. Now, look at those who do not overthink. It is not that they do not care about the future. It is not that they are recklessly optimistic. The difference is their relationship with uncertainty. They understand a fundamental truth. Even if you calculate 100 steps ahead, life will always introduce variables you cannot control. They do not view the unknown as a guaranteed disaster, but simply as a normal part of reality. To them, letting go of the need to control everything does not mean a crash is coming. It just means they can finally rest. So, if you are listening to this right now, please remember one thing. Overthinking is not a disease, and you are not broken. That relentless, loud voice in your head? It is just a bodyguard, an incredibly loyal but deeply exhausted bodyguard who has been working overtime for years. It is trying desperately to keep you safe from an unpredictable world. It does this out of a primitive kind of love, out of an ancient instinct to survive. But it is time to tell that bodyguard that the war is over. You are safe now. The next time you find yourself standing in the middle of that chaotic, noisy intersection at 2 in the morning, do not try to fight the traffic. Just step off the road. Look at that exhausted part of yourself. Invite it to sit down with you, and simply breathe in the quiet of the present moment. Let the unknown be okay. What is the one thought that usually keeps your bodyguard awake at night? Share your story with us in the comments below. We are here, and you are not alone.